Hello my friends, this is Victor and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, a big welcome aboard. I'm a flight attendant and every week I share with you some travel tips on how to travel in better conditions. Today I'm going to continue a series that I started about 2 months ago where I was explaining how to become a flight attendant. So I went through the process of what is a flight attendant to understand better is we're not just here to serve food, and then second part was about the interview, and today we're going to talk about flight attendant training. There's quite a lot going on. Welcome aboard. So the training is quite intense, depending on the airline. It could be 4 to 6, sometimes to 8 weeks. If you are living in some countries, you need also to do on top of that full training that is made by the government, so pretty much going in an official school, not the airline school. I know in France it used to be called the CSS, but it changed the name. But technically you go and study, pass an exam, and once you're there, then you can apply for an airline. The airline will not really consider you if you don't have this exam, so you already spend money, you're not even sure you get a job at the end. And then if you get on board this airline, then they will train you based on their own equipment and own aircraft. But you need to have all this background. You're not allowed legally to fly before. It's not the case in Canada. If you applied for Air Canada and Transat or any other airline, they will train you from A to Z, following the guidelines from the government, but they will take off all your training, so you don't have to pay to go in a specific school. As I say, it's quite intensive training, and I'll just go through a bit all the different aspects that you will have. The first one is actually all the security, aviation security. So you're going to learn about all the equipment that we have on board to protect the passengers and the aircraft and the crew. It could be from a fire, so all the different fire extinguishers, the different types, how they work, where are they on the plane, because if there's a fire and I need to know instantly where my 2 nearest fire extinguishers around me, I don't have to think, I don't have to take a card and look on my map, where is it stored? No, I need to know instantly. I know there's one there, I can go and get them. Where's my smoke hood? Where's my fire blanket, my fire gloves? All the stuff needs to come automatically. I need an oxygen bottle for someone, I know right away where I can grab one, and a mask. I don't have to look, oh, is it this storage here or this storage there? Won't work. So you need to learn what are the equipment, how to check that they're working well, because we check them all before passengers get on board, and how to use them if you have to use them, and what to do after them if you have to dispose of them. So that's already taking a whole week, because there's a lot of different equipment. Again, we're not just here to serve food. The security is the main key factor. Then we went to do water drills. Water drills was quite fun. So you need to prove to the airline that you can swim and you can go on a raft. So we had two big exercises. The first one was to swim with overhaul. So we have extra clothing and we had to swim for a certain length. And it's quite heavy with the overall. And second, still wearing the overall, they throw us a life jacket. We had to put it on the water, and then we have to jump on the raft unaided. So without any assistance, you have to be from the water on the bottom of the raft and then jump and get inside. So you need some shoulder strength. I did a bit of push-ups before and I was feeling all right. And then you learn how to play and put a canopy and this kind of fun stuff. So it's funny, we're in a swimming pool. It's actually a public swimming pool for the airline where I work for. So people look at us and take photos of us. Like it's quite intense. It was a fun day. So that's a water drill. Some airline you have to do it again every year. My airline we don't have to do on very often. It's mostly when you start your training. The next bit is first aid and aviation medicine. So we are first aiders. We come with a first aid training when we get on board, and then we get added extra layers, because remember, on board we might be doing the job of a nurse, and even though we're not a nurse, we'll get directions by the phone if there's no medical assistance at actually on the aircraft. So we'll get the doctor on the phone to tell us what to do, but we need to be able to do a lot of things and play with hardcore drugs that are on board. But also you would be surprised how many cases we have. It's small, it's minor, but people fainting, so we have to put them on oxygen. People who have anxiety and all the extra stuff. Like we deal with medical stuff. Pretty much I have one at least once a month. It's not major most of the time, thank God, but I had a quite severe issue just before New Year last year, and passenger have diarrhea, vomiting, pain in his chest. It was actually going quite bad, and thank God we just landed and he was able to handle him to paramedics, but he was about to die on the plane. So yeah, you need to be ready for all this kind of stuff. Then another fun aspect of the training is survival. So you never know, and I hope it will not happen to you, but your plane one day because of an emergency might end up landing in the middle of the desert or Antarctica. Well, how do you deal with that? Because it's completely different. You need to be able to do survival in a different environment until you get a rescue team to come and grab you. So we go through all that. So it's actually also quite interesting. I learned a lot of things I would never think about it, but if I go camping one day, I will think about a few of them. A part that I kind of like in training is human factors. We discuss a lot around how I pretty much analyze situation where there was not a very good communication between two team members. It could be between a cabin crew and a flight crew, and then how it has an impact after, and it could lead to an incident or an accident. So it's quite very, very interesting because it's eye-opening and it shows that we all have to work together. So we did human factors. We also did self-defense, because we may have to deal with people that are not very helpful on the plane. We have to handcuff passengers, so we'll need to learn how to put handcuffs to someone. We can have plastic handcuff when you're a kid to play with, but those are real ones, and there's different ways of doing it. Remember, we work in a very small area. If you have to handcuff someone in the aisle, it's not very wide, so we need to be able to work around that. We also do in some cases, it was not my case, we have to do responsible alcohol serving, because we're serving alcohol on board on planes. So in some places you need to have a special license to be able to do so, and it's also quite interesting to learn how to see if someone's starting to get drunk and different approach you can have with that. And sometimes it could be just a friendly reminder, but sometimes you be quite assertive. So this is also something we had to cover, and it all depends which airline and which places you're flying from and to, and then where the aircraft is licensed and registered. So every day you have to pass an exam about what you had to do, what you studied the day before, and usually the pass rate is between 80 to 90%. So you can't afford to make many mistakes. So every night I had to go home, study what you've done during the day, do some homework, and then know everything by heart, because the next day, first thing we do when you get to training center, go on the computer and then do our testing, and it's always stressful. The thing, I did my training when I was 41 years old. I haven't been in school in quite a long time, so I don't remember how I actually learned stuff. I haven't been studying for such a long time, so that was a big part for me, is to learn how do I learn, what works for me. For me, it's to write stuff again and again. So, but it was taking a lot of time because I have to write everything I've done during the day. Then once you finish with all the security, emergency, not so much fun always part training, then you go into service training, and for me it was only like 3 to 4 days only. So it's how you learn how to set up your carts, how to organize your galley, how to run the galley. And it's still quite a big job, because if you have to run the galley, you may have to run the food for like 300 people. You need to be quite organized to do so. But we don't spend so much time to show you that the main part of the training, the main part of the job is actually security. And then you go online. So once you've done with all that in the training center, in my case, they send us for 2 flights, 2 coaching flights. So who is a trainer, and we'll go around about 70 questions. They're gonna show you the answer, because the training center's got a mock-up of an aircraft, but now you're on a real thing with real passengers. So we still do the service. That's also a good way of learning service. But after that, in between, you will go and show you where the emergency equipment is. This is how you use it. This is how you do this, and etc. And then so you do 2 coaching flights, and then you do a sign-off flight where the same 70 questions will be this time asked to you, and you need to provide all the answers. So you need to know all your stuff. And then you can get your wings and your real flight attendant. The training was quite fun, even though it was quite intense. I had to put all the stuff aside in my life. It was just focusing on training. So you can't really go out and party with friends because you don't have the time to do it. It's fully intense. And again, we have to do homework and study at night. The good thing, like on weekends, there was no training, but we had so much homework to do during the weekend. We actually did group training. So some crew came to my apartment and we're studying together and cook together, and we tried to make it fun and actually create bonds. So whenever we fly with someone from our intake, it's always fun to be together again. And it's actually a great job. So you need to invest this month or a month and a half or 2 months where there's nothing else happening in your life, and then after the fun really starts. So I say it's a great training opportunity, and I really hope you enjoy it. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comment below. If you like the video, you can put them up. And if you want to see the first part of the video, explain about how to become a flight attendant, the interview process and everything, I'll put a video to the link right here. And then if you want to see all my videos, you can subscribe by clicking clicking on my photo right there. And next week we'll do something different. I received a request, actually 2 requests in the last few months, asking if I do some ASMR with safety announcements, well, onboard announcements. So next week will be a little bit different. I will use my voice to calm you down, and hopefully you enjoy it. In the meantime, have a good week. Bye.